Hello! In today's Archaeoscoop, my top 3 headlines are as follows. Headline number 1 comes from Vindolanda, just along Hadrian's Wall from here at Archaeoscoop Towers. It's one of the most famous ongoing Roman excavations in Britain, if not the world, and it continues to reveal fascinating aspects of life on the Roman frontier for around about 400 years. In this instance, it's about shoes, and 4,000 shoes or thereabouts have been discovered at Vindolanda in varying states of preservation, but nonetheless usually really rather well preserved. However, this particular story is with regards to children's shoes. It seems that shoes across the site at Vindolanda, right from the very earliest phases of the site, are not only present, which is for many people quite surprising that children are present on the frontier, but also they seem to mimic the social status of the different areas in the fort, and indeed the vicus around. In that respect, it seems that children, as you might expect, are showing off with their footwear to the same extent to which their parents would do as well. So more wealthy children have proper shoes with studs and everything, lovely patterns in the leather. Less well-off children are having to make do with fairly simple Roman shoes. So it's in many ways an unsurprising find, but nonetheless it's quite nice to have this sort of stuff explored and confirmed. So for more on that, check out headline number 1. Headline number 2 comes from Norfolk, where the Norfolk Medieval Graffiti Survey have been examining graffiti in churches and most notably probably Binham Priory as well. And what they're trying to do is really uncover the sort of the subculture of graffiti in church and bring it to the forefront. In particular, pre-Reformation graffiti, getting a sense of what people thought about church before the Great Reformation under Henry VIII. Now, one instance which I quite like actually comes from St Mary's Church, in clay apparently, and it actually shows a 14th century ship called a North Sea cog, a seagoing trade vessel, and it's wonderful. It's even got sort of the stereotypical castles on the front and the back of the ship, and it's been etched into the church, quite possibly as either a thankful sort of prayer or an act of thanks for a safe journey, or hoping that a journey will be safe in the very near future. And what they're trying to show, actually, and indeed what they suspect, is that graffiti may not have been actually as subversive as possibly we see it today. It may have been an acceptable act of worship and devotion, and potentially even some sort of offering, in many ways trying to placate God, as it were, and ensure things like safe journeys. So as I always say, indeed, as I've already done a video on graffiti, a Hidden Histories graffiti video, graffiti is a wonderful social artefact. It is a cultural artefact which reveals so much about a time and a place. And in this instance, yeah, wonderful bits of little, insights into the medieval mind coming forward because of graffiti. So check out headline number 2 for more on that. Headline number 3 comes from Spain, specifically the town of El Campello. I probably pronounced that terribly, I'm sorry, where an extremely rare vase has been found. It seems that an Iberian era, or late 2nd century BC vase, was found by police who were doing a fairly routine inspection of an antique shop, an antiquities dealer. And they came across this vase. They instantly knew that it was something fairly special. And it turns out that it really was. It's the only intact example of such a vase ever discovered. And it was probably on its way to being sold and never to be seen again. So this is a wonderful story, really, showing that, again, even in times of economic hardship, countries like Spain can still tackle problems like antiques dealers trying to, do less than wonderful things with the past. The dealer has been arrested, and the vase itself actually came from the Alicante province. So it's this sort of multi-regional situation going on, and the story itself actually was published from Madrid. So yes, this is a global problem, and this is just yet another story about it. But if you want to know more about this particular story, check out headline number 3, and I suppose the ongoing fight against illicit antiquities and the illicit antiquities trade across the world. So there you go, those are my top 3 headlines from today. For those news stories and some more news stories from the past couple of days, check out the headlines below in the information bar. And there we go. So until next time guys, bye bye.